I bought every OXO kitchen gadget I could find on Amazon. They all have thousands of 5-star reviews, but after testing hundreds of kitchen gadgets myself, I can tell you this. Great ratings don't always mean great products. So I'm testing each one with zero prep to see how easy they are to use straight out of the box. Starting with this pepper grinder that Susan says is the pepper grinder she's been looking for years. Now for some reason OXO ships this with pepper already inside of it, which definitely I'm gonna count as an added bonus. And then it looks like on the top here you can adjust between the 5 coarseness levels. Let's just put it at the lowest for now, flip it over, and I think we can just twist the top. Okay, that's super easy to twist right out of the box. And honestly, I can get a lot of pepper with this quickly. And now for the coarsest setting for comparison, also super easy to twist and a very clear difference in that coarseness too, which I think leaves plenty of room for the 3 settings in between it also to find the exact coarseness that you want. So yeah, this one works. It works super well and it's really small for storage. I'll be ranking each of the gadgets as I go from best to worst, and well, this has no choice but to start in the best slot. So let's get our pepper grinder in place and move on to the next gadget, which is this 3-in-1 avocado slicing peeling gadget that Kato says is a brilliant way to prepare avocados. His sister told him about this one and he says he couldn't be happier, so let's see if we feel the same. So I'm starting this with the slicer right here and it feels pretty sharp, but not too sharp to like hurt yourself, which is probably a good thing. And we're gonna slice the avocado vertically. Oh, okay, it really gets into that skin super easily, honestly. I barely have to put any effort in to get that to go through, which makes sense. It's a pretty soft fruit. And we got to cut all the way around. Let's see if it opens nicely. Give it a little twist and beautiful. Honestly, a perfect cut on the avocado so far, but the gadget does more because apparently in the middle here, you can wrap that around the pit to pull it out. So I guess it just kind of sits on top. You push and you twist and pull it out. Oh my, no way. I mean, pits aren't super hard to remove in avocados, but that did all of the work for me. And last up is this slicer part of it. I guess it just goes into the skin of avocado, you pull it all the way through and you should get slices. Let's try that. All right, I'm gonna put it all in the front there. Don't have the ripest avocado, so it's a little hard to push in, but I think I've got it basically to the bottom. Let's pull through with a little bit of effort. And all right, look at those slices. Definitely should have sliced that onto a plate, but I mean, these are perfect avocado slices for sandwiches or salads or anything like that. And I would say that about 90 to 95% of the avocado actually peeled out from the skin here. So it did a pretty good job. Now, because you could easily do all this with just a simple knife, I think it's a little bit less useful than a pepper grinder and a little bit more niche, so for now it's going to be our worst gadget. Next up is this sink stopper that apparently earned Marissa's first Amazon review ever, and she gave it an 100 out of 10, so let's see how it does. Now I believe this is as simple as just putting it into your current sink. Yep, it fits flush in there perfectly. I guess if you have a standard size sink, you're all good. And I don't think it really does much more other than sits in there and actually catches food. I guess the handle is just used to pull it out of the sink when you need to. So I've got a bag of oats. Let's see if it catches these from falling down the sink. I'll just kind of sprinkle it around a little bit, run the water here, and you can see the water is draining really nicely, but all of those oats are definitely catching inside of our sink stopper here. And once you have a clean sink again, stop running the water, grab it by the handle, and all the oats stay in there and you can easily just go throw this away. If you don't have a garbage disposal and you're trying to keep a bunch of food from going down your sink and clogging it, I think this is definitely a great product. I don't know if I'd give it an 100 out of 10. That seems a little bit excessive. I still prefer this pepper grinder over the sink stopper here. I think it's a little bit more universal and it has more use case, so I'm gonna put the sink stopper right in the middle of the two gadgets. Next up is this vegetable chopper that Caitlin likes because she says it's the best way to chop anything, including onions, which she can now do without crying. I'm a big onion crier when I cut them, so let's try this out. So it looks like you just take the bottom off of this, which is protecting that blade from cutting anything, and then I think you're just gonna push down on this handle, which seems to release the blade into there and cut whatever you want. Looks like it kind of spins with it too. Now I did have to cut this onion in half to make it fit inside of here, but now that we're in there, you can see it kind of holds tightly that onion. Let's push down and see how well it chops. Uh-oh. Blade feels kind of caught in that onion on the first pull. Maybe if I help it up and down a bit. Okay, that's a bit difficult. Oh, now it seems to be flowing a little bit easier. Okay, I chopped it maybe like 10 times, and that's kind of the result. A mix of just randomly sized cut pieces there. Some are really small, some are just full pieces of onion still. I'm gonna give it one more shot with a smaller piece of an onion just in case it was too big. And yeah, I mean, the blade on the first chop is just fully caught in the onion there, so you really have to pull it up and down yourself, and it's just really getting quite caught in there. Until you got smaller pieces, then it kind of pulls on its own. But even with that, again, just super inconsistent on the onion. Now, just for the sake of fully testing it, I'm gonna try it out with some garlic cloves too. So I've got 5 cloves here prepared. Let's get them all under the chopper. If it works for that, at least it'll be a little useful. I mean, they don't get stuck at the very least, and chop up and down quite a bit. And I mean, to be honest, it did a pretty good job with the garlic. That is pretty chopped and pretty minced. So let's do one more kind of tiebreaker test and try a tomato. I think this will probably be the hardest for it, but it's already surprised me so far with both of the 2 tests, so let's see. The tomato is a bit taller than this gadget wants. It doesn't even fit all the way down. I feel like if I had to chop a tomato in half, it would already fail the test, because at that point I just chopped the whole thing. So I'm still gonna try it like this. And oh yeah, those blades don't even stand a chance with this tomato. I'm putting like full effort into this just to get it through, and I mean, it just obliterated our tomato. So if they marketed this as a garlic chopper, I mean, it would kind of be a good product. I think it did well at that, but since it can't do onions or tomatoes, I can't say I'd recommend this one. Which means our whole list is sliding down a bit. This has to go in our worst slot. But let's move on to this paper towel holder that Shaky says is the best paper towel holder after trying many of the other ones, mostly because of its sturdiness. Now, it sits flat on your counter on this base right here, and it does actually feel really sturdy. If I try to just shake that base, it's held on there nice and well. And then I guess you pretty much just open up this handle, which is going to grab our paper towel, put the towel over the top, and this is a full roll, so I want to make sure it holds the largest size, and it definitely does. And it looks like you can pull open the handle all the way. I thought I was breaking it for a second, but that just pulls open all the way so that you can actually slide your paper towel underneath it, close it back shut, and now theoretically this is going to hold it so that you can rip and tear with one hand. So let's get it to the perforation, and I mean, it definitely does rip. Let's try once more with a little bit less effort. No, okay, so you do have to pull it pretty hard, but overall, definitely does work. And then it's got this handle on the top in case you want to carry it around. So yeah, it's pretty simple. It works well. You definitely can rip it with one hand with a lot of force, but it's definitely doable. Because it's simple yet effective, I'm gonna put this one in second place for now. I think it's just a little bit better and more functional than our sink stopper, but I still really love this pepper grinder. Maybe it's the pepper that it came with that they're selling me on. Next up is this apple core that MS says is so sharp that she actually wishes it had a protective cover to it. So let's see how it works on apples. I've got an apple right here, and I think I'm gonna just go straight through the stem right here. Just start pushing it, and wow, okay, it's sliding into the apple almost easier than I actually thought it would. And just like that, I'm all the way down. You might even want to do that on a cutting board because it was actually coming through pretty fast, but just like that, I'm able to push it through. You see the core inside. Let's pull it back. Easily pulled it back out, and can I grab this whole core now? Yeah, look at that. We have the entire core of the apple, and it took maybe 2 seconds. Now, just to make sure that I got the whole core, I'm gonna slice this apple open, and I mean, look at that. The entire core of this apple is now missing, ready to be sliced or eaten. Just gently feeling the blades on the top here, I actually agree with MS. This is incredibly sharp, probably to the point where it would be dangerous if you had kids or young pets, and so it should have a protective cover, so you're gonna have to be a little careful with it, but overall, an incredible gadget. The pepper grinder lasted us a long time, but this gadget is phenomenal, works super well. It has to be in our best slot, even though it is a bit of a niche gadget. Next up is this soap brush that Alex gave 4 stars, but he said he should have given 5 to it. He says, "This is my favorite item under my sink that deserves 5 stars, and the only reason I gave it 4, which I went back and forth about, is because I thoroughly hand wash all of my dishes, and my family goes through a ton of cups every day that he has to scrub, and cups are the only thing that he can't use this on." So let's give it a shot and see how well it works. So it looks like the top of this just twists off for refilling it with soap, which it's got a nice wide open mouth to get soap into there. And then there's this button on the top, which I'm assuming is going to dispense some soap through. And yeah, that's definitely what it's doing. If I held it the right direction, soap would be coming out. So I've got a bowl with a bit of a sticky, hardened mess inside of it. Let's just try scrubbing a bit. Push down the button. Oh yeah, look at that soap coming out of that. It comes out very easily, and then you can kind of just use the brush in your palm, nicely sized, to scrub that. Add a little water, then scrub away. And look how sudsy I was able to get that in just a few seconds of scrubbing with this brush. Definitely works super well. Now for Alex's sake, I also have a cup. I want to see how hard it is. And okay, I totally see what he means. I can't reach my hand with this brush into the bottom of the cup super well and actually scrub around. And I also wouldn't be able to really get the sides of the cup that easily. I mean, I could kind of like move it up and down a bit like this, but it's pretty awkward to clean cups. So I emphasize where he's coming from on that one. So yeah, it's a simple brush that takes up very little room, scrubs super well, and really is easy to dispense soap. Overall, there are plenty of good sponges and soap dispensers and things like that. So I'm gonna put this kind of in the middle of the line. I think it belongs right between our paper towel dispenser and the sink stopper. Next up are these corn holders that Amy gave 5 stars because, well, they work. She said she has nothing else to say. Now they fit together and pull open, and you get corn holders for both sides. You can see the little pieces kind of just intertwine into there to close it shut so it's protected. And then if you've got a burning hot piece of corn that you can't really hold with your hands, the corn holders just stick right into the sides of them. Oh yeah, that slides in really easily on both sides. And now you can hold the corn without burning your hands and just eat away. So yeah, these are super functional. I love that they're nice and safe and can't poke anything when they're put away like this, and they just work super well. Because our soap brush isn't functional in cups, and these are just really simple, small, and work well, I'm gonna slot this between our paper towel holder and the dish brush, as long as it'll stay there for me. Now, the other way to eat this corn would be to peel all of it off of the cob instead of trying to just bite it directly, which is where this corn peeler comes in handy. Sarah gave this 5 stars, calling it the perfect kitchen gadget. She says that when she bought it, her boyfriend called her excessive, but now he also loves the gadget. So I think I'm just gonna hold the corn vertically here and just try and slide this along it, and it kind of just grasps it nice and well. You can see the little blades on the corn peeler right there. So all right, let's see how well this works. Oh wow, that is sliding effortlessly down our corn. Oh, holding it by the handle was not working well, but I am putting almost no effort in, and look at that. I mean, that peeled every kernel off of this cob. Let's try once more, because that is incredibly satisfying. Okay, a little tricky to start it, I guess. And straight down. Boom. This thing worked absolutely unbelievably well. This corn is stripped completely bare of its kernels. It takes practically no effort. Now, you would of course have to do this about, I don't know, 5 or 6 times down each corn husk to get all the kernels off of it. But still, it's super satisfying to use. This is a tough debate. I think this could go anywhere in the first 3 slots, but I'm gonna put it second just because I think you could eat corn without this too, just by biting it from the husk. Whereas apples, getting the core out before you cut it is honestly super useful. And I think it's a little bit better than our pepper grinder because, well, there are so many ways you can grind pepper, even though I do love this one. Next up is this rapid coffee brewer that Connie says is the greatest purchase ever for a quick pick-me-up. Now to start, you take off the top of this right here and the bottom of this container here. Take out this little piece, and then there are markings inside of the bottom right here to tell you how many coffee grounds to put. So I'm gonna fill it up to the bottom line, which is for hot coffee. This is a tamper to push down the coffee so that it brews nice and evenly. So I'm just gonna push that down really quickly and pull it out. So now we got flat coffee in there. These 2 pieces twist back together, and then you add water inside of this, which I've got boiling hot water ready. I'm gonna fill it up to our max water line inside of here. And it turns out I should have had this cup underneath it when I poured the water, so let's try that again. Filling this back up with hot water, and then our top piece goes onto here. We can twist open the pump here, and it says to wait 2 minutes here now, and then we continue. And after waiting 2 minutes, you now push slowly lightly down on this to kind of drip the coffee through the bottom, and yeah, that's brewing through nicely. I guess you just do this about 4 or 5 times to get all that water through. And yeah, 5 full pumps later, all of my water has now brewed through. So now you can just pull the Gadget off of that carafe on the bottom right there, or let it continue to brew out the last few drops apparently. And about 5 minutes later, you've got some coffee brew that you can mix with milk or water, or I guess just drink it straight. Although it's apparently a coffee concentrate, so I think it's gonna be pretty strong. So aside from the silly mistake on my end, this thing was super easy to use and brewed coffee in about 5 minutes. Now I think there's dozens of ways to brew coffee and not a lot of ways to hold corn properly, so I'm gonna slot this right between our corn holders and our dish brush. Next up is this wine bottle opener that Paul said was so easy and effective to use, he actually thought he was just doing it wrong. So to start off, the foil cutter is actually already attached onto the wine opener here, so you can just take that off, wrap it around the top foil of your bottle here, pinch and twist. Let's try it out. I can definitely see it being cut a little bit. Didn't cut all the way through, but enough to take that foil off for sure. So there you go, the foil comes right off. And then after pulling up the handle on this, it's ready to open your wine as well. So this, I think, just slots right onto the top as far as it can go. Oh yeah, it kind of clicks into place. Does hold the bottle, but not super tightly. Oh yeah, if you kind of grip it, you can see it's really holding the bottle there. And then I guess you just pull down the handle to get the cork. Oh yeah, you can kind of feel a little bit of the pressure. It's super easy to get down though. It takes almost no effort. And I guess you now lift the handle to pull the corkscrew out. And again, very little effort to actually get that up. And just like that, our wine bottle is open. Now the corkscrew is stuck in there, and I believe you can just push the handle back down and then open up kind of the side tab right here. Maybe pulling the handle back up releases it. There we go. So just doing the handle one more time, you get the full corkscrew pulled out as well so that you can reuse the Gadget. Honestly, this is probably the best and simplest wine opener I've ever used. It took pretty much no effort to fully cork this and had no issues corking it at all. The only gripe I have with this product is it is pretty big and bulky, so you do have to store the whole thing somewhere. Compared to our Apple Core, for example, it is significantly smaller. But on the same hand, I think it's better than our corn peeler because, well, you could probably peel the corn decently well with a knife. There's no other way to open wine bottles than other wine openers, so I'm gonna put this in second place. And our last OXO gadget is gonna be this salad spinner, which Amelia says she's had for 2 years and it's still going strong for her. So this opens up like you would expect, and then it's basically a colander inside of here that you could probably pull out to wash if you need to. Yep. And then you can throw whatever you need to wash inside of it. So for example, a bunch of lettuce for a salad. And then I'm gonna bring this over to the sink to wash it, but basically once I have water running inside of there, you just push the handle and it starts spinning the top, and oh my god, look how fast that thing actually can spin. And it's really easy to push the handle too. And then you can use this black button here to stop it whenever you want to. So let's get our lettuce nice and wet here, dripping wet as much as possible to see how much can strain off of it. And then after you kind of rinse your lettuce inside of the colander here, it goes back into the bowl. And now our lid goes back on, and let's spin away. The bowl is gonna catch all of the water that's spinning off of it. And it's pretty fun to use also. And I think that's enough spinning, so let's get it stopped. Take off our lid and check on our lettuce. And honestly, to the touch, our lettuce is still pretty wet. You can see just holding it in my hands, I'm getting a good amount of water left on my hand, but it was soaking wet, and you can see how much water the bowl actually took off of that lettuce inside of there too. So it did get a decent amount. And overall, I think a little bit of water left on the lettuce probably isn't a bad thing anyways. So I think it does work decently well. Honestly, the biggest downside for me would be the size of this thing. It's absolutely massive to have as a salad spinner, so unless you're eating salad every day and can really justify taking up so much space with this, it's just a really big item. So for that reason, I'm gonna put it into our second worst space. It still does work, so it's definitely better than our chopper, but I'd rather have the small avocado gadget for the times I want an avocado. Which means that our winner of best OXO gadget of the day is going to be our Apple Core, which honestly really surprised me. And unfortunately, our worst is the only one of the gadgets that didn't work, our vegetable chopper. So overall, I would say that the reviews were pretty legit for all of these. I really enjoyed enjoyed almost all of the products. The one thing I did not test from OXO was a kitchen scale, and that's because I tested a wide range of kitchen scales from Amazon to find the best one, and if you want to see which one I crowned as the winner of that test, check out that video right here.